I am 31 years old and do not have any hobbies outside of video games and fishing. I have spent the last 15 years being a father and working hard to support my family. I now have 5 children, and I have advanced in my career to the point where I no longer need to work long hours or multiple jobs. I have not had a hobby or real interest since I was 16 because I have been focused on my children and career. Video games have become mundane, and I do not want to go fishing all the time. I like cars, but I am not interested in working on one, although I enjoy tinkering. I have been considering leather crafting or something similar. However, I would prefer an activity that gets me out of the house to meet people and make friends outside of work. Does anyone have any suggestions? Story 1. Guitar or any instrument really. Low-cost entry point. Lots of free resources online. Finding a teacher first, and later people to jam with gives one a community to connect with. Even the student-teacher relationship can be very special and relaxed if you find a teacher you click with. Music is a language one has to learn. Once you get the basics, the joy of being able to play even a simple tune brings so much happiness. It also makes you appreciate the great musicians with more nuance. Overall, it will improve your quality of life. The more love you give it, the more love you get. It is also never-ending. From more guitars, to more gear, to more people to jam with, to more theory, scales, modes, positions, and transcriptions. It is truly endlessly rewarding. Story 2. It's time. At 30, someone should have told you. You have 2 choices. You can get really into World War II. You can get into smoking various meats. I'm sorry, the rules are the rules. We don't make them. We just pick one of the 2 main hobbies like our fathers before us. You can have any other hobby you like. But these are the main 2. Story 3. Build go-karts with old lawnmowers that people leave in alleys. They are free and usually work. They just need cleaning. Kids will love you even if they are older. Story 4. Spent the last 15 years being a father. I have 5 kids. Got the perfect hobby for you. It's called pulling out. Story 5. Weightlifting, powerlifting, bodybuilding. I have met many great people and friends since I started lifting. I do not even really try. People usually start coming up to chat at some point. Pros. You will be fitter, happier, more productive, live longer, and be a more capable human being. Cons, none. Studying a foreign language. It will not help you get out and meet people, but it will allow you to interact with millions more people with whom you otherwise could not connect. Motorcycles. Tons of fun. You get to experience the outdoors in a way you never have before. It is also a great way to connect with other people because motorcyclists usually love chatting about their hobby. Cons. It can be pricey and your family may object. Learning a new instrument. A great means of self-expression and creativity. By studying theory as well, you will gain a new perspective on music. Cons. Your family may not appreciate the beginning stages when you sound unskilled. Amateur radio. Another interesting and scientific hobby that teaches you a tremendous amount about radio communications and related technology. Although considered a nerdy hobby, you can meet many people at equipment swap meets, by contacting others through radio communications, and by traveling to participate in contests. Surfing. Surfing is another great hobby, but it generally requires access to an ocean coastline, which many do not have. Skateboarding. Skateboarding is a fun hobby that improves coordination and is a good way to meet people. Many people your age skateboard. Story 6. Building computers can be a fun and profitable side hobby. Fixing Apple phones is another option. Others enjoy welding or making jewelry. Story 7. Gym, yo-yo, painting, wood carving, guitar, sport, 3D art. Blender is free. Aquariums. Outside of anything fitness or health beneficial, I really recommend yo-yos. Your kids would love them too. Story 8. Want to get out into nature? Looking for a sport that keeps you moving but is not physically demanding or injury-prone like football? Try disc golf. It is super fun, less boring than traditional golf, and very social. It is also very affordable and easy to start. There are plenty of tutorials online on how to improve throwing, distance, accuracy, and more. Highly recommended. It is a fun activity to enjoy with your kids as well. My dad, who is 55, and I play all the time when I visit from university. He also plays during breaks at work. It is easy to find time for a round. The courses are usually beautiful, and the community is very welcoming. Story 9. Golf. You need golf in your life. Connect with people who also like golf. Go to a local course as a walk-on and join a tee time. You always have to get out of the house to play golf. I love golf so much. Story 10. You can try getting into three-dimensional printing. You can use it to learn a little engineering and make moving or functional parts for things. A printer is not very expensive anymore. They can be somewhat involved in both learning to model things and fine-tuning the machine itself, but most machines have decent presets now. I think learning to model things is the hardest part, and I would be further along myself if I had more time to invest. If you get good at it, you could potentially make some extra cash by selling the items you create. Just do not expect to quit your job unless you invest a lot of time and money into a full-scale print farm. Story 11. I am 36 years old and starting to get into amateur rocketry. I am fully engaged in mixing propellants, making engines, and constructing the tubes. I will eventually need to work with a club to obtain a license, but I am not close to that point yet. Story 12. Smoke some meat. Pastrami is amazing when you make it yourself. I have 4 kids, and making plenty of great food with low-cost cuts of meat is always a win. Story 13. I really enjoy target shooting and occasionally hunting. You can get a decent scoped rifle for less than $400. I learned how to zero it from YouTube. Story 14. My advice would be poker and woodworking, activities that can intellectually stimulate you while still having enough substance if you ever want to truly take them seriously. Story 15. Sim racing, woodworking, fun making cutting boards to give out during the holidays, mountain biking, disc golf, hiking, photography. Story 16. A 43-year-old who recently started soap making. It is quite satisfying and easy to get into. I also started beekeeping this year, and I love it. If you like shooting, reloading is an excellent hobby. Story 17. I know you said you do not want to work on them, but cars are a great hobby for meeting people and trying new things. It has completely changed my life. If you can find something relatively reliable, then go for it. It opens up opportunities for meets, shows, clubs, autocross, track days, and more. Seriously, it feels like the hobby is secretly 100 hobbies. Story 18. If you have a heavy wallet, try tabletop board games. If that is not your preference, consider joining a local badminton or tennis club. You will get exercise and meet new people. Story 19. Photography. If you are looking to get outside, digital makes it much easier than when it was film, and you can take thousands of shots without it matching. There are plenty of clubs and different genres. However, it can get expensive. You may want to get a digital single-lens reflex camera from a marketplace, as there are many available because people like myself have moved on to mirrorless systems. You could get a basic kit for $300 to $500 and see if you like it. Story 20. If you like to tinker and enjoy cars, you should try making your own remote control cars. They are much cheaper than real cars, so there is less at stake if you break or damage them. Bonus points. The kids will love the results. They will either leave you alone while you work on their next cool toy or want to help, giving you the chance to teach them as you learn. If you get bored with remote control cars, you can move on to boats, robots, or battle robots. The battle robots community is full of genuine people who just want to have fun. Story 21. Take up bass guitar or guitar and music. Go to the gym, work out, get healthy and fit, or become an assassin as a side job. Story 22. Reading, running or lifting, woodwork, sculpting, painting. Can start with paint by number. Building with Legos, watching sports, volunteering. Story 23. Disc golf is for everyone. It gets you outside and is a mellow, low-impact hobby with skills to master. You can bring the children if needed on occasion. Story 24. I am nowhere near this situation, but first of all, glad you are doing better. I would advise you to just go on walks. Eventually, you will think about things you would like to try out. Buy the cheapest gear first until you are certain it is an activity you want to pursue further. Story 25. Meet people and make friends playing golf. Join a league or go out as a single and be open to joining other groups. Story 26. I got into blacksmithing. It was a little expensive at first, but it is fun. I have not made anything good yet, but it is a learning experience. Story 27. Poker, archery, bonsai trees, chess, writing, disc golf, cooking, painting, mountain biking, glassworking, hiking, woodworking, three-dimensional printing, and coding. Some of these are on my to-do list, while others are hobbies my friends enjoy. Story 28. A physical hobby like running, weightlifting, sports, self-defense, or martial arts is essential. You reach a point where you must focus on maintaining your body. Video games and fishing will not suffice. Take care of your health for your future self. Story 29. Magic, the Gathering. Meet people, spend some money, collect cool cards, and learn a fun and complex game. Story 30. Wood carving and whittling. It is much cheaper than woodworking and fully absorbing. All you need is a detail knife and a rough cut knife, $50 combined. Flex cut is great. Do not get beavercraft. And some basswood. You can get enough blanks for a year for $20 off eBay. Actual relief carving requires gouges. You can get a beginner set for $120 and a mallet for $25. It is a very cheap hobby and very soothing. There is something that speaks deeply to me in planing a surface. I feel complete peace with the universe, as if the wind has swept through me and totally refreshed me. I also enjoy poetry and prosody, but that is not for everyone. I have been working through Stephen Fry's The Ode Less Traveled 4 years. Laugh out loud. I also follow long poems such as Prometheus Unbound, Endymion, and Don Juan, write out all the meter, and try to analyze the devices used and their effects. I find it very rewarding, and my writing has improved more from studying poetry than anything else. Understanding rhythm and the flow of consonants into open vowels will help you communicate better and understand the joy of literature. I study sections of the Princeton Encyclopedia of Poetry and Poetics. I write up sections related to what I am writing or reading. This morning, I took notes on the history of a lament. In the future, I will use this for writing exercises. Select a mix of devices, 1 to 3, then write a piece that uses those devices to achieve the desired effect. Story 31. Look into fitness in general as a hobby. There are many things to spend money on in biking and running. These activities do wonders for your mood and physical health. Story 32. Baking and sourdough have many recipes to try. Models, Lego, and construction sets are fun, or woodworking if you want something more mature and possibly cheaper after the initial tool purchase. Beer and wine making are also enjoyable hobbies. You can even combine beer making with baking by using beer trub, which is yeast left over after brewing, to make bread. Story 33. Most of my hobbies involve the outdoors, which is why I live where I live. Fly fishing and fly tying, camping, cars, jeeps and trucks for me. Shooting, hiking, mushroom foraging, gaming, bikes and biking. Story 34. I think leatherworking, specifically tooling patterns, is a legitimate way to zone out and relax. It is relatively inexpensive to get started, costing about $50 in tools from a kit available online. Grab some inexpensive vegetable tanned leather from Tandy Leather and begin. The process is extremely peaceful, creative, and sometimes frustrating, but you will improve quickly. If you become skilled enough, you can even sell your work to fund your hobby. What more could you ask for from a hobby? Story 35. I started acrylic painting. It is relatively easy to begin, but be prepared to make mistakes at first. Story 36. How adventurous are you? My main 3 hobbies are playing guitar in a band that is currently touring, rock climbing, and flying powered paragliders. Story 37. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is fun to practice, helps you get in good shape, and teaches you how to defend yourself. Certain gyms are friendlier than others, but overall it is quite social. Story 38. Gym and lifting, health, aesthetics, strength, feeling good, and being able to do activities with your children and future grandchildren into old age. Story 39. Golf is part hobby, part eternal frustration. The rare special moments are well worth the torture. Story 40. Golf. Get a few lessons and learn the basics before you develop any bad habits that will be hard to break. It is the best game the world has to offer, and you can play it forever. Story 41. Rock climbing indoors is a good way to start. Most people at the gyms are easy to get along with. I have made some great friends through it, and the strength you gain translates to everyday movement. It is a mix of calisthenics and mental stimulation. Story 42. Start working out. I recently started again about 2.5 months ago, and I am surprised at how quickly you can bounce back and how much better you feel. I am almost 40 years old for reference. I started a high-intensity circuit training gym program. Story 43. Struggling right now, 32 years old, because basketball has always been my go-to sport. Pickup games just aren't what they used to be. I've gotten out of shape, so now when I finally find a game, I get tired very quickly. It might be time to join the community of pickleball. Story 44. Disc golf is what you are looking for. Takes 2 hours maximum, 1 hour if you are alone. It gets you outside and provides light exercise. Easy to learn but hard to master. Inexpensive to get into. Kids can learn too if you want family company. Good community that enjoys making new connections to play with. Courses are found all over, at least on the East Coast of the United States. It is a ton of fun, challenging, and competitive if you want it to be. Story 45. Can I ask why you are looking for something? The way this question is phrased makes me feel like you might be feeling a little lost right now. That is just an opinion. I could be totally off. Because you have been so productive your whole life, doing something that is not productive might leave you feeling a little empty. Maybe look for something from which you could learn a lot. Leatherworking is a great idea. I would even suggest learning it, making some items, and posting them on Facebook Marketplace. It does not even have to be for sale. People who are interested in leatherworking might reach out, and you could meet some really cool people that way. Story 46. I am only 20, but I have liked bird photography since I was 14. I do not have as much time myself anymore, but if you get a good zoom camera and a book of various birds in your region, it feels like a sport or a video game. I was in the Great Smoky Mountains once with my family, and I had them park the car to get a photo of a crow I saw. It had a grape in its mouth. It is arguably one of the best photos I ever took, and I love it. Story 47. Three-dimensional printing. My children are always interested in what I am making on the three-dimensional printer, and I am able to print them some cool items and solve some practical problems. Story 48. If you want something simple but hands-on, try miniature painting. It is very easy to get started. There are Dungeons & Dragons miniatures for $5 or less at any game store, and paints can be bought in a starter set or built up over time. Most people immediately choose Warhammer, but I found other game miniatures to be just as fun, if not more fun, to paint. I am slightly biased since I met the girl I am going to marry primarily through painting miniatures together. Story 49. Have you considered archery? There are tournaments all across the country, usually about 7 within a 3-hour drive. I bet you have an archery shop near you that also has a range. It is a bit physically demanding, but there is a lot of customization when it comes to your bow. That places you into your own specific class with 35 to 10 people in your state, making it easier to win a state championship. I have won 4, and 3 of them were in other states. It is a really fun way to meet people, get exercise, and feel good about the progress you make. Story 50. I have a lot of suggestions. Model boat building, vacuum tube electronics, wood turning, three-dimensional printing, wine making, beer brewing, 6502 assembly language programming. Story 51. Any interest in art? See if you can find an art class, learn to draw or paint or whatever. Personally, I am not the go out and meet people kind of guy, so I have 2 project cars and a garage full of random tools and equipment that range from a small smelting furnace and a metal inert gas welder to a table saw and woodworking tools. Story 52. Local bike and brew groups have been fun when I attended, biking around the city and stopping by a few different bars and distilleries. Story 53. Congratulations on reaching a summit after all the hard work. It sounds like you are being a good role model to your children. Contribute to or organize community projects such as building playground sets for children in underserved neighborhoods, cleaning up park spaces, creating picnic spots or trails in nearby green areas, and building benches dedicated to the community. Collaborate with city council members, local board of education, and parent-teacher-student associations to find local project opportunities. Organize learning or experimentation workshops for students and adults. Let people vote on the next workshop topic. Then reach out to individuals with knowledge, equipment, or connections to bring them together. Aim to hold one workshop each quarter to allow time for planning and to encourage good participation without creating a scheduling burden. If you prefer something more low-key, get into fitness. Start with calisthenics, CrossFit, or weightlifting, and work up to participating in local obstacle courses and triathlons to build community connections along with health and fitness. Story 54. I have gotten into hiking, but a little later in life and wish I had started sooner. You do not need much equipment, just some boots and waterproof clothing in a small backpack. Download a mapping application, find a route nearby, and head off. The peace and quiet, being among nature, and the physical exercise are excellent for your mental health. I just came back from a week in the Highlands of Scotland, and although I am very tired, I feel great. Story 55. I like cars, but I do not think I would be interested in working on one, although I do like to tinker. Do you like racing them? There is some tinkering involved in terms of modifications and car setup. Racing the car is much more fun than working on it, at least in my opinion. High-performance driver education, autocross, and open track days are great activities. These also tend to lead to sim racing and possibly go-karting since the skills are transferable. Story 56. Consider signing up for adult recreational soccer or another sport. It is social, helps you stay fit, and does not take much extra time since games and practices are scheduled with work schedules in mind. Story 57. Photography and repairing old cameras. It would be a learning curve but would allow you to experiment, get outside, and meet people. Story 58. What did you used to do as a kid that you do not do now? I am 40 and still rollerblade. I also still snowboard and ride my bicycle regularly. Story 59. Woodworking is great if you have the space. In the beginning, it feels challenging, but if you work methodically, you will pick it up. It also has endless applications. I have found myself in many situations thinking, oh yes, I could just make that. It is very rewarding. Story 60. You want cars as a hobby. That does not necessarily mean you have to be the one working on them unless you want to. I have built show cars in my garage. I just had my friend, who has a shop, change the transmission fluid in my BMW because I did not feel like doing it. I am 40 and make enough money now that I do not have to do mundane maintenance on my car. I have plenty of friends who own shops that I trust because I have been in the car scene for over 2 decades. Story 61. Try your local art collective workshops. After investing in children, it is nice when you can finally have time to build your interests and forge connections. For some reason, people always assume it will make you a terrible parent, but the reality is that parents are people too. Leatherworking is a craft where you can build interesting social connections and work at home. I once worked with a saddler and his wife. He always had time for his children. He has 14. I figure if he could successfully run a business, actively participate in his children's lives, and honor his wife greatly, then there is little excuse for anyone else. I assume your children might be a bit older if you are starting to find time to enjoy a quiet moment. Something made by a parent will mean a great deal when you are no longer around. There have been some great ideas posted by others, but whatever you choose, I hope it is enjoyable. Story 62. Smoking foods is my newest hobby. I enjoy the flavor of barbecue and smoked meats, and I was tired of paying a premium to get it from restaurants, so I decided to buy myself a smoker and learn. Now, I use my smoker at least once a month if I can, even in winter in Wisconsin. You can make almost anything you want on the smoker, and you can make it as smoky as you like. A decent setup isn't going to break the bank either, and there are many different styles such as pellet smokers, electric smokers, gravity-fed smokers, which is what I have, Kamado style, and standard offset smokers. You can learn to use different woods for different flavor profiles and make your own sauces and rubs as well. Story 63. I'm deeply interested in golf and recently started woodworking. Both hobbies can be quite expensive but are very enjoyable and time-consuming. Story 64. Locksport and lockpicking are hobbies I picked up because they are needed in the military. I later discovered that there is a large locksport community and that it is a deep, interesting hobby requiring skill and tools. Story 65. Teach yourself acoustic guitar and create fun songs to sing to your children. It is enjoyable, rewarding, and beneficial for everyone's brain. You can also play music after they go to sleep. Story 66. Disc golf. Get yourself a couple of starter discs and download the Universal Disc Golf application to start throwing. Heads up, it is a steep learning curve, but if you have the time to practice, it is incredibly rewarding. Story 67. Fishing, hunting, kayaking, snorkeling, diving, spearfishing, bowling, shooting pool, and gardening are some of my hobbies. I enjoy both indoor and outdoor activities, depending on the weather conditions. Story 68. I admire the dedication to your family and the work it took to get you in the position you've described. Well done, brother. As for new hobbies, if you like fishing, a natural extension could be hunting. You get to spend a lot of time outdoors, often without cell reception, which provides an opportunity to reconnect with yourself and your thoughts. You also gain the unique experience of taking accountability for where your food comes from. I could say more, but I wanted to share a couple of thoughts. Good luck with your hobby pursuit, and again, congratulations on your effort. I'm certain it wasn't easy. Story 69. Honestly, anything active, golf, jiu-jitsu, pickleball. These activities get you out, moving, and meeting new people. Story 70. Sounds like you need to play paintball. Look up local fields near you and start there. Everyone is very friendly. Once you buy your gear, join a team and play local tournaments. Story 71. Amateur or ham radio offers many opportunities. You can build radios, antennas, and Raspberry Pi projects. There are events such as summits on the air and parks on the air, field day activities, contests, and other events that can get you out of the house. There are all sorts of things you can do in ham radio. Story 72. Try woodworking. My cousin, who is a year older than me, 34, got into it, and I must admit he has some serious skill. He took a tree stump and turned it into a super detailed bald eagle. I never would have guessed he would get into that growing up together, but I have to admit, most of the stuff he makes is truly amazing. Story 73. My friend just started leather crafting. He was a mechanic before that, and now he has started a business making leather goods. Story 74. My friends and I, who are around 30 years old, started playing Warhammer 40,000. Building and painting are my favorite parts, and then I get to play as well, which is fun. Story 75. Disc golf gets you outside and provides essentially a 2-mile hike. It is simple to learn, tough to master, and comparatively inexpensive compared to other hobbies. You can bring the family from time to time, which is even better if one of the children becomes interested. Local leagues tend to be filled with people aged 20 to 60 who are generally welcoming and enjoyable company. Use UDisc to see what courses are around you and determine if it is viable to get into. Story 76. Music. Pick up an instrument, and you can spend the rest of your life learning new things. Plus, it is a creative rather than a passive or consumptive hobby, which is also good for the soul. Story 77. Learn an instrument and a martial art. Anyone will do. Just something that will keep you growing physically and mentally and can take different forms. A good place to start is one or the other, but both keep me entertained. Story 78. Hiking is excellent for the body and even better for the soul. I do not know where you are located, but I have had luck reaching out to local hiking community groups and have made some good friends through them. Get out there and embrace nature. Story 79. My dad volunteers at the state park. A group of retired men socialize, repair replica cabins, and build new corrals for the livestock. Story 80. Mountain biking if you have trails or a park near you. Yes, you are going to need to spend some money, but as soon as you experience the mountain biker's high, you will want to get out every day shredding the trails. Story 81. I am reading Last of the Breed, and it is fantastic. Also, guitar does not need to be fancy, just able to hold a tune. Gardening is probably my favorite way to pass the time. There is always something to be done with mine, so whatever I do out there is productive. Also, if you have the space, archery and air guns are great. I built a trap for each and shoot them in my backyard all the time. I do love rural life, so your mileage may vary. Story 82. I am getting into radio-controlled airplanes. I just got a starter kit for about $100. It just needs to stop raining. Story 83. Archery is a great activity if there is a range nearby, and equipment can often be rented there as well. Consider investing in your own equipment if you really enjoy it. Story 84. Get into investing but do not get into trading. Learn to invest and understand what makes earnings grow. Grilling, taking care of your lawn, or home improvements are good activities. Get a spouse and have children. The last option will replace all other hobbies. Story 85. Guitar. Difficult, steep learning curve, I won't lie, but it is my piece. No matter how bad things are, I can play guitar and feel like myself. It is one of the last connections I have to childhood. Story 86. Find an instrument that works for you. Golf is good because at the end of the day, you are only playing yourself. I suggest just trying anything to see what works. Story 87. I used to think that about video games. Then I stopped playing games like Apex Legends and League of Legends and shifted to good gameplay like Satisfactory or Clear Expedition 33, which is an absolute banger. I also like Gundam model kits, Dungeons and Dragons, archery, and bowling. I got into pickleball and tried trading cards. All of those, except for the model kits, require you to leave your house and interact with people, which I like. Story 88. Cycling, guitar lessons, Lego Technic, drawing, or painting. No matter how bad you think you are not. Reading. Lots of options. Story 89. If you enjoy fishing, you probably enjoy being outdoors. I suggest trying geocaching. It is a great way to add more fun to any hike and gives you a good reason to visit new places. Story 90. Pickleball. Tennis. Beer kickball. Hiking with a local group. Since you said get you out and able to meet people. Story 91. You might laugh, but I found crocheting is mostly mindless once you get the hang of it. You get an end result pretty fast that will make you feel proud of making something physical. It is great as gifts for kids. Look for amigurumi, the name for toys made with crocheting. It can even be social because you can mostly focus on conversation. Not many men do it, so it is a great starter. Worth exploring, I do not know. Story 92. Do you have a rock climbing gym in your area? It is great for the children too. Bouldering is very casual and can be social as other people are trying to climb the same problem. The community is friendly and supportive. Story 93. Disc golf is a great way to get exercise while being outside. It does not cost much to start, and you get a mental challenge with every shot. The best part is you can bring your children and spouse so the whole family can bond while getting exercise. It is truly a great sport. Watch a couple of videos online and let the good times begin. Story 94. Get some fun cars that do not require maintenance, so fun straight from the factory. Family cars can be fun too, so get a fun family car as well. Drive them to work, daily activities, school, or errands so you do not need to take extra time to enjoy. Story 95. Feel like I'm in an echo chamber of my own hobbies, but there are great ones mentioned here. I think everyone should read. It is a calm activity for the mind. You might like it if you enjoy fishing, as it is calm and you can also do that outside. The same goes for archery if you have the space. Then I recommend picking something up for social interaction and physical activity. Volleyball was mentioned and is fun. If you are competitive, it might be too big of a learning curve as it takes years to get good. But if you are willing to just play, meet people, have fun, and get better along the way, it's great. Also, running? Too boring for me though. Check and train your knees if you start running. Story 96. Model trains. Build scenery with your children. You can spend time with them, tinker with trains, and if you want some minor digital programming to run multiple trains at once, use simple electronics. You can also three-dimensional print scenery if you want to go that route as well. Story 97. Start running. It might sound horrible, but you will grow to love it, and it makes you healthy and tough. 40 is right around the corner, and it hits hard. It is nice to be fit. Story 98. Just throwing some crafting ideas out there. Model building such as cars, Gundam robots, and mechs, aircraft, and so on. Personally, I have always wanted to make a ship in a bottle. Difficulty can vary depending on detail and size. Admittedly, I have only briefly looked at a few written guides online along with some video tutorials, and it seems completely feasible for almost anyone given proper interest, desire, and patience. Lastly, I am not sure if this would fall under tinkering, especially since you mentioned a waning interest in video games, but building an arcade cabinet is quite interesting. In my opinion, it is not terribly difficult and can be fun and even cathartic. Such a project may even pique the interest of one of the kids, something to learn and do together. If anything, try leather crafting. I watched a person make bespoke Jordan sneakers mostly from leather, and it was absolutely amazing. Good luck. Story 99. My friend, you need to get involved in your local pickleball community. It is not just for older people anymore, but be prepared for that retiree with two knee braces to outplay you. It is easy to play, super fun, you will improve quickly, and it is a naturally social sport. I was skeptical, but now I am a convert with many friends. I have a ball machine, 100 balls, and 6 paddles. Story 100. Ham radio offers many different aspects, and with the inexpensive radios available today, you can start much more affordably than when I did. Story 101. I have made myself a home bar and created a list of ingredients to have available at all times. I am enjoying the cocktails I make. Story 102. Sounds somewhat like me. I am 35. Recently, I have mostly stopped playing video games entirely. I could always learn to play a trading card game. Could also be related to the kids. Playing a trading card game gets you out of the house since you would want to go play at a local card shop that has tournaments and events. Story 103. I've done leather crafting and it is indeed a cool hobby. Leather crafting and making wine are enjoyable activities. I enjoy athletics, so I suggest sports or hunting if you are interested. Story 104. Woodworking allows you to create items for your family. You may also earn extra income if you become skilled. There are maker workshops you can join to help you get out of the house. Story 105. I would recommend trying any hobby you have reservations about. You might be pleasantly surprised. Recently, I took up badminton and actually enjoy it quite a bit. It took a friend at the time to get me into it since I was never really into sports. The same with Magic. The Gathering. I was obsessed with it for years. Until I tried it, I thought it was one of those games only stereotypical neckbeards play. While I am one to some extent, it made me more open to giving things a chance. Story 106. Remote control cars have always been a fun hobby for me. Just be careful because the kids will want to drive them and break them, and you will be buying cars for them before you know it. Oh, and car detailing. I have a whole setup and tons of chemicals. It gives me some time alone outside, and I feel productive. Plus, who does not love a clean car? Story 107. Remote control cars or airplanes satisfy the desire to tinker and will get you outside and meeting others in the hobby. Story 108. Leather is a lot of fun. I got into it during the pandemic. If you have a local Tandy leather store, stop by. They are always very helpful. Story 109. Motorcycling offers the opportunity to make friends and discover new places like never before. It is not just a typical midlife crisis activity. It is well-deserved. Story 110. Has anyone mentioned playing a trading card game yet? Something complex like Yu-Gi-Oh is quite nice, but Magic, the Gathering has potential as well. You could even go to bigger tournaments if you have time to spare. It also has the aspect of crafting, if you would call it that way, by creating your own deck or strategy. Story 111. Mountain biking, remote-controlled vehicles, and model kit building. Model kit building is the least expensive, while mountain biking and remote-controlled vehicles follow the principle of you get what you pay for. Avoid toy-grade items and Walmart bikes unless it is the Ozark Trail. Both activities encourage outdoor time, and mountain biking also serves as a workout and fitness activity. Story 112. As a 50-year-old serial hobbyist, I can share my hobbies. ham radio, coin collecting, running, iOS development, writing books, philosophy, bonsai, hydroponics, fishing, United States Practical Shooting Association shooting. Story 113. Remote control cars are fun and much cheaper than when I was a child. The performance you get with modern batteries is incredible. Story 114. I also have children and little free time, and I have been enjoying disc golf. It has a very low cost of entry, and all the courses near me are free. It is easy to learn and challenging to master. Story 115. Tabletop games such as Dungeons and Dragons and Settlers of Catan make for a great night in or out with friends. You can also include the children in the fun. Story 116. At 30, every man has to choose one of the following. Get into boating and spending time on the river. Get into grilling and smoking meat. Become super passionate about a particular battle in an old war. I chose smoking meat. Good luck. Story 117. You have 5 mouths to feed. Learn to cook quality food and teach your children how to eat beyond their comfort zones. Extend that to growing your own herbs and vegetables like tomatoes and green onions. When they get old enough, they will want to join in and learn from you. The first time you grow and cook your own tomatoes seasoned with the herbs you grew, whether for pasta sauce or pizza, will be an experience they will never forget. The dishes they love and learn to cook will mean the world to them when you are no longer here. You could go outside the house, but then you are leaving your wife with 5 children. You made them learn to live with them. Story 118. Pickleball is social, fun, and competitive. The game can be played very strategically, like chess, or casually with wild shots and plays. It is enjoyable either way. Story 119. I am into music and audio in general, especially high-fidelity audio. I have a 7.2 channel surround sound system in the living room, a 2.1 stereo system for CDs, vinyl, and streaming, a 5.1 surround sound system in my bedroom, and a 2.1 system at my desk for gaming and music. I am also into cycling and archery. These activities help me get out of the house and meet like-minded people who share the same interests. I am a father of 3, so I cannot always get out. But when I have free time, I try to cycle. When I am home, I listen to music and tinker with my sound systems. Story 120. A martial art like a kickboxing class at a friendly mixed martial arts gym similar to the Ultimate Fighting Championship gyms. Many older men attend, both fighters and non-fighters, as well as those just looking to get a workout. There is also the option of a boxing class or one-on-one lessons. It is a workout, you make great friends, and you will learn some moves in case you need to defend yourself for any reason. Story 121. It sounds like you could benefit from a more collaborative hobby. May I suggest getting into Magic, The Gathering, Dungeons and Dragons, or Pokemon? If you like to tinker, you could try your skill at 3-dimensional printing. Story 122. Hockey, whether roller or ice, is a good time. There are beginner leagues for adults and skate lessons or camps. It is quite expensive, especially ice hockey. Story 123. Ideally, having a combination of artistic, social, and athletic hobbies is best. An example of this is playing musical instruments, partner dancing, and cycling. Story 124. I am 38 years old and just got a great electric bike. It is so much fun. I also plan on signing up for a half marathon. I need to lose some weight because I am gaining extra fat. Laugh out loud. Story 125. Whittling and pyrography, especially if you go hiking and find sticks to use. Stained glass making. Basically, any craft you can find in Hobby Lobby. Story 126. Buy a 3D printer, such as the A1 Mini. They are now affordable and easy to operate. Then build a Voron. Story 127. There are 2 things I would recommend. Running and reading. One is good for physical health, and the other is good for mental health. Story 128. If you are athletic, try golf. It is the only sport in which you can actually improve as you age. Be careful, as it can become addictive and take up a lot of time. I started playing guitar about 4 years ago and practice every day. It is very rewarding once you begin to get good. Story 129. Something both physical and social. Exercise and social interaction do wonders for the body and mind. Story 130. Fishing, hunting, kayaking, snorkeling, diving, spearfishing, bowling, shooting pool, and gardening are some of my hobbies. I enjoy both indoor and outdoor activities depending on the weather. Story 131. I have been learning to draw for the past month and a half, and it has been pretty fun. The key is to practice a variety of skills, not just the ones you specifically want to improve. Story 132. If you have not yet, fly fishing and fly tying are great if you like to tinker. Also, hunting and firearms have a great community and hands-on activities that will get you outdoors. Additionally, if you are interested in cars, start going to any local car shows. It is another great community that will welcome you, even if you just want to see cool cars and not work on one. Story 133. I would probably sign up for a carpentry, pottery, or upholstery adult education course at the local college. Story 134. Are you into superheroes by chance? Start reading and collecting comics. One of my favorite hobbies is that there is so much to read. Story 135. If it were me, I would be interested in rallycross or similar budget-friendly car racing options, blacksmithing, and skydiving. Story 136. Social dancing is my go-to suggestion, but I guess you might want to be more social with other men and get away from your wife and children for an evening once in a while. Therefore, I would recommend joining a male choir instead. It's fun to sing together, and you can make many good friends. Playing board games is another suggestion. You could reconnect with some old friends and invite them to a board game cafe in your area, preferably to an event where you can learn new games and meet other guests. Finally, if you want to improve your social skills and networking abilities, I recommend joining Junior Chamber International or Toastmasters International. I have heard good things about Toastmasters International but was a member of Junior Chamber International when I was younger. Both organizations provide training for public speaking, social skills, and project management. Story 137. I got involved in some hiking groups when I moved to a new city. It was a great way to make friends and improve fitness. I am not sure where you live, but I would consider searching local social media groups for outdoor clubs and activities. Story 138. Carpentry or general fixing can be enjoyable if you like to tinker. There is a large variety of videos available to learn useful techniques and find inspiration. While it does require some investment, you can create nice items relatively quickly and begin to develop a strong sense of satisfaction from fixing and making things. Story 139. A relatively new tabletop role-playing game system called Daggerheart was released. Alternatively, you can play Dungeons and Dragons as either a dungeon master or player. Story 140. Volunteer. I run a baby music class hosted at retirement homes. Bringing children and seniors together is enjoyable and relaxing. You can include your younger ones if you wish. It may not be suitable for everyone with many children present. I also enjoy working on my Focus ST car, which is in good condition and requires little maintenance. These days, with generative artificial intelligence, I spend most of my free time building new ventures and applications. Story 141. Motorcycling. I never expected to get into it as a hobby, but 4 years later, I have 2 motorcycles and the motorcycle endorsement. I look forward to riding and all the joys that come with it, except for people who cannot drive. Story 142. Golf. Never thought I would play golf. Previous hobbies include archery, fly fishing, slow smoking meats, and weightlifting. Golf is very popular for a reason. I picked it up at 50 and wish I had started as a teen. It is so much fun. Story 143. What do you mean you cannot just go fishing all the time? Try fly fishing. That is a whole other challenge, but definitely get some friends to join you. Story 144. Could start collecting things like coins, cards such as sports and Pokemon cards, and toy cars like Hot Wheels. Putting models together and building Lego sets. Story 145. You have 5 children. Spend time with them. Do activities they enjoy. Being a father means much more than just having children. Ignore any responses that do not provide ideas on how to spend time with your children. Story 146. Gave up all your free time and spend it providing for your family? That's great that you did that. A real man, but everyone needs some time for themselves, even if only a small amount. Time to unwind, de-stress, clear your head, and take care of your mental health. People can go crazy, literally, without that. If you are too stressed or drained to be there emotionally, being a father to our kids can be difficult, and it's not really helping them. Just my opinion. Sorry if you hear that a lot and are tired of it. So, your question, woodworking? I want to try spinning wood on a lathe, make little things, or those tables made from half wood and half epoxy. Amazing. Or gardening. It might sound girly to some, but it doesn't have to be. Astronomy, photography, art, painting, drawing, and all that. Lots of options. You should give more details. Story 147. You had 5 children starting when you were 16. That is unfortunate. I was single until I was 31. You missed out on a lot. You sound like the ideal candidate for a midlife crisis. You will most likely end up buying a convertible and start cheating on your wife. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.